Sitting here thinking about it's that time, man. It's this eclipse. It's all this energy floating around. You know what I'm saying? It got me in this mood or whatever. But just sitting back thinking about life. You know, they say it's short, but I tell you, it feels like ages. You know what I'm saying? I'm 42 now, but it feels like I've been here for ages. I'm having a lot of dreams of old memories of like past lives and things of that nature. Uh, this gift, Spirit's been telling me, tell people, they need to hear this. They need to hear this. This gift or whatever. Why I do what I do to such a degree is because of all that I've been through. And it's not so much being able to put things down on paper as it is being able to see into the real essence of things behind the flesh. You know what I'm saying? I was on the bus today and I saw this young lady get on. And before she got on, she was in the walking by the window and shit. And I looked in her eyes. She couldn't see it and whatever, but I looked in her eyes and I could see it. I could see what was going on. You know what I'm saying? I could almost pinpoint what it was. I've always had that gift to be able to see the not only what a person is going through, but the real person underneath all of that. You know what I'm saying? And I wanted to say that, even if it's hard for you to believe, everybody that I've had in my life that I've come across, any kind of relationship, man, I love y'all and I appreciate y'all. And if it's hard to believe, then I say it's because of what you've taught me about myself, for one, and two, I know who you are underneath all these experiences. It's not the real us, you know what I'm saying? It's not the real you, it's not the real me, so to speak. It's just the process of learning. Every last one of y'all are beautiful in my eyes. My eye, you know what I mean? Because I can see that. It's the gift past all the technical, the drawing and whatever, what have not, whatever that I've done creatively or have been, applying myself in these different arts. And this time, it's a lot of people are carrying around things, and I see it. I can look in your face and see it. It's hard to hide it from me. It's very hard. I can't hide it. I can't hide from myself. You know what I mean? And I was looking in the mirror and I was like, God damn, I was just looking when I got up and shit. I was like, God damn, I could see in my face what I've been through. And there was a sense of relief behind all that. It was real weird, surreal, you know what I'm saying? It was really weird. But if you ever have the chance to look at an older person, you can see their life in their face. You know what I mean? Because you can't hide it all at the end. You know what I mean? And a good example of that was my Aunt Maritha when she passed. I would say rest in peace, but I figured out a while ago she might have already come back. You know what I'm saying? Which is why I haven't seen her in my dreams and all that. We're all ancestors to somebody at some point. We've come back in another form. But, I say that to say when she passed in this lifetime, we went to the hospital. I was with my cousin. That was a long motherfucking haul. It was like the movies and shit where the shit just extends on you, and it's like the longest walk. You know what I'm saying? I was walking with my cousin, his mom. You know what I'm saying? I had him in my arm and shit. When we got there, they unzipped the bag and shit. Mom fell out. My brother, everybody was just. But I looked at her and she had this smile that looked like a child, like a child's grin on her face. And that was that moment I knew that whatever she had come to do, she did it. And whatever she saw before she passed was the most beautiful thing in the world. It brought her back to that time. You know what I'm saying? When we come into this world, we have our ideas, our purpose set. And then we get caught up in this matrix, this bullshit, this failing society that teaches us to be this instead of that, which we came to be. And I think that's important for everybody to really remember how you were as a child. I used to love taking things apart. I love Transformers, and back then they had the screws. Some of it was metal and shit. So I used to get the butter knife and the sharp knife and just go at the screws and take it apart, see how it worked, then put it all back together again. You know what I mean? That was the real me. You know what I mean? Exploring the woods and being with nature and seeing how that dynamic played out was just it was awesome. You know what I mean? It was just mind blowing to me. The art was just something I've carried over from past lives. I tell people that all the time. How long have you been drawing? I say forever and a day, and I mean that shit. You know what I mean? I mean that. So the other thing was that Spirit had me, put out there was, like I said, there's a lot of stuff going on underneath that people don't get to see. They don't get to express. It's one of these this world that we live in. It makes it hard for people to come forth, whether it be an injustice or a traumatic experience. It's hard to talk about it. You know what I mean? But I'm here. I will talk to you. You know what I'm saying? That's what I want to dedicate this channel to. I'll talk to you. You know what I'm saying? I'll sit down. We can chop it up, whatever. But that's part of the healing process because we got to learn to let all this go. It's not us. It's just the experience that we're going through. You know what I mean? And what we learn from all that is what really matters. How we see, how we perceive the experience. You can't quite grasp it while you're going through it. You can't you can't really understand its meaning while you're going through it. But when you come out of it, you give yourself time. You come to that place, you know what I mean, where you have a choice. You can see it a different way for what it's really meant to show you, or you can continue to let that cycle replay over and over again. And a lot of people have had to come back to replay certain situations and scenarios until they get the message, And it's that time where we have technology, where we can reach out to each other, and so many ways of expressing and just releasing. It's a lot easier than you think. Once you jump in, it's just like that situation. You didn't know what it was until you jumped into it. And it's the same with the healing. You never know until you jump into it and give yourself the chance. Same thing with fall in love. You never know until you jump into that situation. No matter how it turns out, you always remember how it started. You know what I mean? All my old relationships, I remember how they started and the intent behind it. There was never any ill will or malice. It was all pure love. It was the fool card in the tarot deck. The fool just out there with the bag on your back and a damn dog standing by the cliff, not knowing where you're going to go. And regardless how it turns out, I always turn back to those moments. You know what I'm saying? And that's with everything. So that's the message for the day. Peace.